Hello everybody and welcome back to my second Staff Elementalist sPvP tutorial video. I'm just going to keep with the old video format and just leap right into this tournament here so that we can show you some combos up against some real opponents. I feel like you get more information here than you would against fighting golems because it's very real. People are actively trying to evade you, so I think it's just in general more useful. So some of you may have noticed that there's no thieves on this particular tournament, and that's okay. I will get to that. A lot of you have been asking me about how to deal with a thief as a staff elementalist, especially a glass staff elementalist. So we're going to start by fighting a ranger in a 1v1 fight here. So we're setting up a combo 1 here with eruption first, and then I'm going to use a shockwave to immobilize him on the field. Then immediately drop the lava font at his feet to deal that additional damage and roll in to set him on fire. I also used arcane wave in that fire field to give me might and fury and deal additional damage to him. So what you're going to see next is part of the reason why Elementalist is such a hard class to play. On top of your cooldowns, on top of your attunement swapping, and on top of your combos, you need to be able to predict your opponent's movement. Not just their intention, but their movement. You'll see I've noticed that he's walking away from me a lot. He keeps backing off. So I dropped a wall behind him, knowing that he was going to move backwards, and then a lava font right where I knew he would hit. Then I rolled into him to set him on fire, added with a flame burst, and then stayed in fire to finish him off. So one of the most frustrating parts about being a staff elementalist in a 1v1 situation is definitely getting rid of that last 5% health that your opponent has. You have to be in fire because fireball is really our only useful auto attack, and it's really slow. But at least you get flame burst there so you can apply that direct condition damage and then finish them off. In this case, it wasn't bad because I managed to spike him down from about half health or 33% of his health, so he didn't quite see it coming. But if you're dealing with a thief, for example, if you can't spike him down in that last minute, he just runs off and stealths up and heals and goes away. So just like in my previous video, it's important that every time you drop an AoE ability that it's followed up in close succession with a CC ability. It's what separates good elementalists from bad elementalists. If you're just dropping AoE abilities on the fly without CC, you're not doing anything. Your opponent can see that. They're not stupid. They'll get out of the red circles even if they don't mean anything. Even if it's an ice field, they'll just walk out of it because it's a red circle. You have to use your CC to control your opponent, control the fight, and drop your AoEs and make them hit. If they're not hitting, you're not going to win. And right now, just like in the first video, I am using combo 1. I dropped a static field with an eruption, dropped a lava font on top of it, rolled into him to light him on fire, and then blasted the field with arcane wave to give me might and fury. This is a great way to start the fight. I have 7 stacks of might and a good time of fury. And then I'm already in fire, so I can switch into a meteor shower tornado combo. It may look complicated and it might be more confusing when you're doing this at a faster pace, but if you just keep to those original combos that I showed you in the first video, you will find it coming together a lot smoother and it just becomes second nature. It's like I'm already in fire, I've already blown my earth cooldowns, so I can't go into a defensive combo. Why not just use a tornado meteor storm combo? So just start by practicing those 3 basic combos. Start with the eruption combo with the static field, then slide into the meteor storm tornado combo, and then when your earth is back up, go into a defensive combo or even the water healing combo. So leaping ahead here, I just wanted to show you that defensive combo again. It looks a little bit different. I tried to put that wall behind him but missed, but that's basically it. You know, I just wanted to show you that yes, you can keep using these combos and they continue to work in slight variations of each other. As long as you keep practicing them, they definitely work. So I see there's a fight brewing at the clock tower, so I'm going to head over there. Now I won't go so far as to say that we are a hard counter for Minion Master Necros, but we definitely do our part in these group fights when they're involved. As you can see, he's got a number of minions there, but they're all gone within a matter of seconds. Right now he's a Minion Master Necro without minions. It is a strong build by far, and in a 1v1 situation you're not likely to beat one. But in a group setting like this, where you cleared off his minions, he's got nothing left. And that's another great reason to choose an Elementalist over a Thief. The same can be said about Spirit Rangers as well. Because their pets were designed to take damage, and all of our damage is AoE, it doesn't do them any good to be in a team fight because their pets are gone in the first couple seconds, especially when you're dropping things like Meteor Shower. So we're coming up to a one-on-one fight with this warrior. I tried to hit him with a static field, but he managed to get through. It looked like he had stability up. And then so I couldn't keep him in that lava font. So now I'm dropping a meteor shower because I'm hoping he's dumb and he's just going to fight in it, but he's not. He keeps at range with his longbow. I drop a chill field, and seeing that Minion Master Necro, I'm realizing that things are getting kind of bleak here. So I'm actually going to try to leave. So another interesting fact about Arcane Brilliance, when you use it in close proximity to the pets, it does trigger off of them as well. So hitting 5 pets will give you an additional 100% more healing for a 7,000 point heal, which is great. And that's another great reason why you can fight Spirit Rangers and Minion Master Necros, because just fighting them one-on-one, you'll get the full potential of the heal. Unfortunately, in most cases, it's just not enough. So I managed to try to heal there, but because the fire field was dropped first before the water field, I actually got the might instead of the blast finisher. But it's okay, it's just enough. And another interesting thing to watch is actually keep an eye on my boons and see how many times that might field gets blasted. I have so much fury built up right now. As an arcane elementalist, it's great and to just keep giving fury, and that fury is AoE, given to all of your teammates as well. It's a great advantage to them. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you there. So stay tuned. We'll get into the thief and dueling segment and see if I can teach you anything else. So the most important part of fighting any thief is protection. That's why we run Armor of Earth and why we run the number 8 ability in Arcana, so that we get protection when we switch into Earth. Start in an element that is not Earth, so that when you switch to it, you will get protection from your 8 in Arcana. Add to that Armor of Earth, and that should give you ample amounts of protection to run you through the fight. Now, it's absolutely important that you keep cycling out of Earth as quickly as you can, because you need to cycle into it every 10 seconds. If you do that, and you do it effectively, then you'll be able to keep up protection for at least 30 seconds. That's a huge chunk of a fight when it comes to fighting a thief. So again, as I said before, it's a lot of predicting their movement, a lot of trying to decide where you think they're going to go, and using your fields to restrict their movement. You have a CC in every element, and you need to use each and every single one in order to keep him away. But more than that, because thieves are generally quite glassy, stand in your fields. Don't try to use your fields to attack him. Use your fields to protect you, and use your direct damage and conditions to deal damage to your opponent. Landing that eruption is important, but it's very difficult against a thief. Flame Burst is quite possibly the most important ability. Use it every single time it's up. So you can see here that I've dropped an eruption at my feet to keep myself protected, and then shockwaved him to keep him at range, and then immediately put up a water field so that I could blast it and heal. But I was lingering in earth too long, and so my protection is now gone. So you can't really tell here because I'm running this in slow motion, but I'm actually burning through my attunements very quickly. You can tell that by the cooldowns there. I actually have used up most of my CC, and the only one left for me is this Burning Retreat, which is not great against thieves since they have a lot of leaps and steals and what have you. But keeping him at range is useful for trying to prevent that backstab and giving them that free stealth, so trying to keep at range is good. Now I dropped an eruption in the middle of this field here, and I can see that he's hit that unsteady ground because it keeps going off. So I hope this is going to cause bleeding, but at the very least I get healing. Now the moment he comes out of stealth, I need to be ready to drop an AoE at my feet, because at least if he's going to choose to do damage to me, I'm going to hit him for it. Using your body as a method of controlling your opponent is incredibly useful, and a good reason to use Celestials, or at least some Vitality and Toughness. So you can see I'm still using these fields. I'm using my body to control him. I stand on the other side of these fire fields because I know he needs to come through them to hit me. So one of the main things you need to remember here is that every time I'm switching into earth, I'm also getting that protection. So when he's in stealth, I'm standing in a field ready for him to come out so that he'll get hit by my field. And I also need to be ready to switch into earth to gain the protection for the burst damage that he's about to apply. When he's not in stealth, I'm putting down these fields, and I'm making sure to stand on the opposite side of him. Whenever I know exactly where he is, I need to make sure that there are many obstacles between him and me as possible. A lot of the time, they'll be tempted to walk through them, and that's what's going to kill them. See, he's trying to apply pressure because he thinks he's got me, but I still have an arcane shield up just in case. I could use that to kill him at this point. It's also important to remember that thieves don't always have to keep coming at you because this is a duel setting. He kept coming at me. Realistically, he could have bugged off. But that's a normal part of fighting a thief, and if they're bugging off, it means you've won. So I'm going to show you another fight in a more realistic setting, an actual tournament. Be aware that this build is not exactly the same as the one you just saw. This one I'm using Blasting Staff because I was trying to be more support, and I'm using Mist Form instead. I figured I would just avoid the thief. But in this case, he actually surprised me. So it actually looks like this is going to be a 2v2, but this Mesmer is going to break off and fight the Necromancer, and he's going to leave me to fight the Thief alone. It's actually pretty hard to find a 1v1 with a Thief in this setting, so you take what you can get. So I dropped my static field on this Necromancer thinking it's just him. I think it's going to be a 2v1. I drop an eruption there, and I think I hit the Thief. You can see that stun the Thief a little bit there, and I think I get him to bleed. But I'm just going in to deal with his pets right now because I only think that it's just this Necro. And then I take a massive amount of damage, which alerts me to this Thief. But I still haven't noticed the poison on me, so I drop the Geyser to heal, and I blast it. But it's not enough to get me up to full because of that poison, so I use my Mist Form and start backing down. I realize if I keep walking, he's going to kill me. So I stop and roll back at the last second, put a ice field down to keep him at range, a wall down as well, blowing 2 forms of CC to keep him away from me. And then I go and, because my water is down already, I drop an eruption at my feet, a lava font at my feet, and I make sure I just stay in them because the only chance I've got is to deal as much damage to him as possible. I get that flame burst off just in time, and the guy stands in the lava font to finish me off because he thinks that's all I've got, and he goes down. So the lesson to take away from this is, if you can get a thief to stand in those fields, you can take them down. The trick is trying to get them to stand in those AoE. The first time he walked into the eruption because he was hit by a static field, and the second time he walked into the eruption again because I was standing in it. I managed to get the flame burst off just in time, which is what ended him, but realistically, if he had been smarter about it, he could have just backed off, healed up, and come back in for the kill. So the next video I'm going to show you is against Honeynut Charios again, but he switched to a much glassier build. The reason I want to show you this video is because of this field here, this black powder. This is what they use for stealth. If they're using this build, they're using it to gain free stealth by Heartseekering through that smoke field. But again, it's all the same, and it actually makes it a little bit easier to fight them because you can tell where they're coming from, and you know what they're going to do. But it's important that when they do gain that free stealth, to know that the burst is coming, and you have to be ready to anticipate it. So once again, it's the same trick, but again, anticipate, see that he's putting down that field, put that static field in front of him, and control them. So learning to read a thief will take a lot of practice, but as long as you follow the simple rules, stand in your own circles, stand in their black powder circles, just try to keep them on their toes, try to keep them controlled, but realize that it's almost an unwinnable fight, especially when it comes to glass thieves, because they deal so much damage, and whenever they get low, they can just bug out. Especially if they know you're good, they will continue to keep going into stealth and keep coming out, and the best you can do is just hold them off. In a 2v2 setting, this would be extremely dangerous for this 1v1 thief, because he's going to be taking a lot of damage from another partner as well, and I can be applying damage to somebody else. I don't have to be applying damage to this thief, I just have to be applying CC. So you know the end of the fight is coming, because I had to blow my heal there without a water field, and more importantly, all of my attunements are gone. It's important to keep those attunements cycling quickly, but if you cycle too quickly, you're screwed. But in this case, I had to keep cycling in order to get to my CC, because glass thieves do entirely too much damage. So that's all I have to show you today. So here's my build. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. I hope you found it useful. If you have any comments, leave them in the forum post or on the comments below, and I'll respond to them as best I can. If you want, you can message me in game. My name is Azili. I'd be happy to talk. All right.